Chapter 2352. That's what I was thinking. I've been sending people to look for them. We've already searched all the abandoned factories in the suburbs. Gao Ran sighed. Ian's way of doing things is very strange and he's always been very bold. It's very likely that he doesn't care about the police at all. You don't have to look for him in the suburbs, you can also pay attention to the downtown area. Maybe they're in the downtown area. Qin Chu gave a pertinent suggestion. Okay Chu, do you have any plans? Didn't you just say that Ian seems to be looking for Huamin? Qin Chu didn't say much about Huamin and only briefly mentioned it to Gao Ran. Yes. Then will your family be in danger? I'm not sure yet, it depends on how much Ian knows. Or rather, how much Huasiqian is going to tell Ian. Qin Chu wasn't sure if Ian knew about Huamin's identity, so he was very worried. That's troublesome. The more you don't know, the more scared you are. Anyways, you have to protect Mian and the kid's dad. Oh right, if you can't, you can stop her from working for a while. I have a feeling that South Side isn't safe since those people were able to sneak into South Side, kill Mr. Xiang and kidnap Mo Shui. I understand, I'll talk to him later. Just then Qin Chu's phone rang. Hello? Qin, I have something urgent to tell you, where are you? Rick's voice was very anxious. I'm at Gao Ran's place. I just saw Ian. Rick's tone was very serious. What? Where did you see him? Qin Chu's body shook violently. At the Japanese restaurant on Huaxi Road. Let's meet and talk about it later, this is really troublesome. Okay, I'll come to you right now. Then Qin Chu stood up. Rick saw Ian, I'm going to talk to him in person. Where did you see him? Rick knows Ian? Gao Ran stood up as well. Rick's family used to have dealings with the Ian family. They're not enemies now, but they're not friends either. In short, their relationship is very complicated. It's not something that can be explained in a few words. Okay, then you go first. Let me know if there's any news. It'll make things easier if we know where they are. We'll also be able to find out where they took Mo Shui. Qin Chu stood up and was about to leave when Gao Ran's phone rang again. Wait a second. Gao Ran yelled from behind. Qin Chu turned around, Gao Ran took out his phone and showed a video to Qin Chu. After Qin Chu glanced at it, his expression changed slightly. In the video, Mo Shui was naked. She was tied to the cross, naked. Both of his wrists were nailed tightly and blood slowly flowed down. His feet were also nailed to the ground by iron nails. Her face was no longer recognizable, but the outline of her face was still recognizable. It was Mo Shui. These people are so cruel. How could they use such a method on a woman? Even if Mo Shui is still alive, she'd be better off dead. I can't stand it anymore. Damn it, I really want to catch this Ian and shoot him 100 times. Although Gao Ran didn't like Mo Shui's way of doing things, seeing her being nailed to the cross like a doll made his heart heavy. Where did you get this video? Qin Chu asked coldly. Chapter 2353. My subordinate just forwarded it to me. He said that the city bureau received this video 3 minutes ago. This is a blatant provocation. What are they trying to do? Gao Ran was furious. After being a police officer for so many years, he had seen a lot of murderers, but he had never seen anyone as cruel as this. No wonder even Qin Chu had to be cautious when he talked about Ian and changed his expression when he talked about him. It seems like Mo Shui is doomed. Ian is too arrogant to send you this video. He knows that you can't do anything to him. That fucking foreigner. If he pisses me off, I don't care if he's Ian or Ian, I'll shoot him first and think about the rest later. Even if he's a foreigner, he can't ride on my neck and shit on me. Gao Ran was usually calm, but when he was angered, he was like a violent lion. He even wanted to shoot the foreigner, but things weren't that simple. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I think it's best if you don't go looking for him. Qin Chu lowered his head and pondered. Why? Gao Ran froze. He didn't seem to understand what Qin Chu meant. Mo Shui is dead for sure. Even if she's not dead yet, she's going to die for sure. Qin Chu was sure that Ian wouldn't let Mo Shui go after what she had been through. There was no doubt that she was going to die. Fuck. I'm such a fucking piece of trash. I can't even save 2 hostages. Suddenly, Gao Ran's sense of duty as a police officer exploded. He felt manic and inferior, he even felt like he was nothing. For the first time in his life, he felt sad because he couldn't do anything. You don't have to be too sad. Ian's arrival was unexpected. It's a good thing that the people here are unrelated to us. If someone close to us was targeted by him, it would be troublesome. That's true. I'll go back to the city bureau first. They're probably going to explode this time. Gao Ran left Qin Chu in a bad mood. Qin Chu went to see Rick and Gao Ran returned to the municipal bureau. Mo Schwager was nailed to the cross, but she couldn't feel the pain anymore. Because he was already numb, she was already exhausted from being tortured by this group of demons. She even felt that it would be a relief if someone could give her a stab and let her die. Sir, this woman won't be able to hold on much longer. Should we kill her now? Ian's subordinate asked. Ian was sitting on a chair not far away, leisurely drinking red liquid. It was hard to tell if it was blood or red wine. The entire basement was filled with the smell of blood. No, keep her alive for now. I kidnapped her because I want to give her a big present. Ian smiled slightly. 10 minutes later, Huasiqian arrived. Half an hour ago, Huasiqian received a notice that Ian wanted to meet him. Because his phone was being monitored, Ian was very powerful. He directly sent someone to the Hua family's old mansion and gave him a secret signal. At first, Huasiqian was shocked when he heard that Ian was here. It was too sudden. He didn't receive any news about Ian's arrival, so he didn't even know when he entered the country. Later he calmed down and thought about what had happened in the past few days. Xiang Xian's death, Mr. Xiang's death, and Mo Schweiger's disappearance. Then he understood what was going on. Other than Ian, no one else would do something so disgusting. Sir, Mr. Hua is here. His subordinate knocked on the door and reported. Chapter 2354. Let him in. Ian swirled the wine glass in his hand. He had a unique smile on his face, one that would make strangers' hair stand on end. Huasiqian left the house in a hurry, so he didn't have time to change out of his business attire. He was wearing a coffee-colored business shirt, black trousers, and a long black coat made of cashmere. He was dressed very casually. He didn't bring any subordinates with him because he thought it would be inconvenient to meet Ian, so he came alone. Why didn't you tell me you were coming? Huasiqian asked Ian respectfully as soon as he walked in. I didn't want to trouble you. I wandered around for 2 days. Although your city is small, it's quite interesting, Ian replied with a smile. Master Ian, do you have a mission for me? Huasiqian asked nervously. There's no rush, Hua. Come take a seat. Ian smiled at him. Huasiqian felt uneasy, but he still followed Ian's instructions and sat across from him. Ian picked up another wine glass with a sticky red liquid and handed it over. Here, try it. Huasiqian looked down and knew what it was. It was human blood. Ian had a habit of drinking human blood for many years, so it wasn't the first time he saw it. What's wrong? You don't like it? Ian asked when Huasiqian didn't move for a long time. Huasiqian didn't say anything and he slowly picked up the wine glass. Then he gritted his teeth and drank the entire glass of liquid in one gulp. The taste of blood immediately spread from his mouth, and the feeling made him want to vomit. How is it? How does it taste? Ian stared into Huasiqian's eyes and asked. Not bad. Huasiqian barely held on. He had to put on a convincing act in front of Ian. If he gave himself away, all his previous efforts would be wasted. Moreover, if he made Ian unhappy, the consequences would be unimaginable. This was because Ian was a temperamental guy. He was even more emotional than a child. He didn't even care about Nalo, who was his blood brother. Therefore, no matter how unwilling Huasiqian was, he would not go against Ian's wishes. People used to tell him that he was like a dog in front of Ian. However, who would be willing to be a dog in front of a demon like Ian? Who dares not to be a dog? Ah, good, I like your personality. Ian seemed to be in a good mood as he patted Huasiqian's shoulder. Do you know whose blood this is? Ian asked as he inched closer to Huasiqian's face. Huasiqian didn't say anything, but he seemed to have an answer in his heart. Ian put one hand on his shoulder and pointed at a dark corner not far away. Well, look over there. The moment Huasiqian looked up, someone turned on the lights in the corner. Mo Shuya was standing there with her hands tied behind her back, and there was a wooden cross behind her. His wrists and feet were covered with ghastly wounds. The blood had merged with the rust on the nails and it gave off a disgusting smell. Huasiqian seemed to have expected this, so his expression was calm. Wake her up, Ian ordered. One of his subordinates immediately walked over and splashed a bucket of cold water on her. Mo Shuya woke up from the pain. She slowly opened her eyes and a familiar face appeared in her sight. Chapter 2355. Oh, so it really is you. Huh? Emo Shui's voice was weak. She smiled in despair. She knew that Huasiqian would deal with her sooner or later, but she didn't expect him to be so cruel. Huasiqian didn't say a word. He looked at Emo Shui with an unfathomable gaze. Oh, I heard that this woman worked with the Xiang family to set you up. Have you been a pushover lately? Why haven't you done anything yet? Ian asked. I've been busy with work and haven't had the time to deal with them, huh? Huasiqian laughed. I knew it, so I did it for you. What do you think? Are you happy? Ian asked. Yes. Although Huasiqian said he was happy, he didn't look happy at all. There are still a dozen people from the Xiang family alive. I've already ordered my men to take care of them. After tonight, none of them will be left alive. Huasiqian was shocked and immediately replied, No, Master Ian, there's really no need. Mr. Xiang and his daughter are already dead. Let's just forget about it. No? You have to be decisive. Don't you have a saying in China, if you don't remove the roots when you cut the grass, it will grow again when the spring breeze comes? I don't want you to leave behind a disaster for yourself. Ian's methods were cruel. Whether it was the elderly in their 70s or 80s or the young children, no one could make him soft-hearted. He didn't even know how to spell the word mercy. Although Huasiqian was ruthless, he wouldn't go so far as to kill an entire family. Therefore, when he heard that Ian was going to kill the entire Xiang family, he felt very uncomfortable. However, he knew that he couldn't convince Ian otherwise. Huasiqian, you'll die a horrible death. You won't have a good ending if you do this. Emo Shui thought that they were in cahoots and that Ian was one of Huasiqian's men. Therefore, she kept cursing Huasiqian. This woman is so noisy. You two go and pull out her tongue. Ian laughed as he gave this cruel order while drinking the red liquid in his hand. Emo Shui's expression changed drastically when she heard this. Ian's subordinate stood up and walked towards Emo Shui. They would definitely obey their boss's orders. Huasiqian could no longer sit still. He stood up and said, Master Ian, I have some grievances with this woman. I have something to say to her. Sure. I kidnapped her and gave her to you anyway. You can do whatever you want with her. Ian didn't care. To him, Emo Shui was just like an ant. He didn't care if she died or not. What was important was that he was happy. Huasiqian rushed over and grabbed Emo Shui's hair. I never thought that you would end up like this, Huasiqian said as he looked at her bloody face. But I was too merciful. I should have killed you a long time ago. It's fine now, you can kill me. Either way, one of us has to die. Otherwise, we'll never be able to settle our grievances. Death is the only release. Emo Shui smiled bleakly. Before Huasiqian could say anything, Ian's subordinate said with a cold expression. Master Ian said that he won't let her die easily. He has a lot of tricks planned for her. Huasiqian remained expressionless after he heard this. He slowly let go of Emo Shui's hair and slid his hand down to her blood-covered face. There was no trace of her delicate features anymore. Who would have thought that she was the most famous female celebrity in the country? Shui. It had been a long time since he called her name so gently. Chapter 2356. Huasiqian's words touched Emo Shui's heart. The two of them had been together for many years. From love to hate, they fought and tore each other apart. They had been through so much together. Huasiqian watched Emo Shui grow from an unknown girl to an award-winning actress with tens of millions of fans. Emo Shui had witnessed Huasiqian's transformation from an adopted son of the Hua family, who was looked down upon by everyone, to the man who now controlled the entire Hua family. In fact, the reason why they got together from the beginning was simple. They wanted to use each other. One wanted to become famous, while the other wanted to fool others by flirting with female celebrities. Emo Shui was very scheming. Over the years she had helped Huasiqian a lot. However, because of her obsession she went down the wrong path. Otherwise, Huasiqian would never have thought of touching her. I never thought that we would get to where we are today, huh? Emo Shui smiled with a pale face. I didn't think either. Huasiqian leaned his head against Emo Shui's. He hadn't been this close to her in a long time. To be honest, although she had always wanted to get rid of him and did a lot of infuriating things, Huasiqian didn't want to see her tortured to this state. Xiqian, did you know? I planned to work with Hui Yanyan against you. I was going to poison you and slowly kill you. Emo Shui said. I know you hate me. Huasiqian lowered his head. He didn't dare to look into Emo Schweyer's eyes. Hate. That's right, I hate you. I hate you for not loving me all these years. Emo Schweyer's voice trembled. She even sounded like she was about to cry. Shwe, stop talking, Song Isher Wang Shasha Jiang Linyue. You killed all those women, didn't you? Yes. For the first time, Hua Xiqian publicly admitted that he killed people. You did all this just to be with Huamin, didn't you? Yes. Hua Xiqian nodded. Both Emo Schwerer and Hua Xiqian spoke very softly. Ian couldn't hear what they were talking about from the distance behind them. However, Ian didn't seem to be interested in this because he had investigated the relationship between the two. He knew that Emo Schwerer was Hua Xiqian's enemy, so he wasn't afraid that the two of them were plotting something. Moreover, Emo Schwerer was now in his hands. There was no way she could escape. What about me? Emo Schwerer asked. You're going to kill me soon, right? Schwerer, I didn't do it. I didn't ask him to do it. Do you believe me? Hua Xiqian was actually very upset. He didn't want to see Emo Schwerer die, but there was nothing he could do to save her. I believe you because you've never lied to me. You just don't care about lying to me. But I actually regret it. If I had asked you to go overseas, none of this would have happened, Hua Xiqian said regretfully. Back then Emo Schwerer was planning to go overseas to pursue her career. However, Qin Chu and Su Yu were fighting, so GK started a film and television company. Huamin asked Hua Xiqian for help, and Hua Xiqian immediately asked Emo Schwerer to sign with GK. This incident caused quite a stir back then. Hua Xiqian didn't think that from then on he and Emo Schwerer would become more and more entangled. In the end, the child was gone and so was their relationship. They started to fight. Maybe this is my destiny. I don't regret it. If I could choose again, I would still choose to be a celebrity and continue to be entangled with you. But I know that you'll never fall in love with me because you only have Huamin in your heart, right? Emo Schwerer asked in tears. Hua Xiqian remained silent. Now that things have come to this, can you please help me one more time? Emo Schwerer asked weakly. I know what you want. Hua Xiqian lowered his head, looking very conflicted. Chapter 2357. So, you'll help me, right? Emo Schwerer smiled bitterly. After a long silence, Hua Xiqian slowly nodded. Emo Schwerer finally let out a sigh of relief. She knew that no matter how cruel and heartless he was still willing to help her. Even if it was the last time. Hua Xiqian slowly wrapped his arm around Emo Schweger's shoulder and leaned his warm face against hers. Emo Schwerer smelled the familiar scent that she hadn't felt in a long time. Tears instantly fell from her eyes. She thought back to her life. She was too obsessed with Hua Xiqian, a man that she shouldn't have fallen in love with. That was why she went down the wrong path. Now it was time for her to wake up. Xiqian, if there's a next life, let's not meet again. After today we're even. Emo Schweier's voice was hoarse. Hua Xiqian nodded. Then he abruptly pierced the dagger in his hand through Emo Schweier's heart. The sudden pain only lasted for a second. Then Emo Schwerer felt as if all the energy in her body had been sucked out. She slowly rested her chin on Hua Xiqian's shoulder. Then she used the last of her strength to kiss Hua Xiqian's face. Then she slowly closed her eyes. She knew that from now on she was completely free. She would never feel pain or fear again. Whether it was love or hate, they were all gone. In her last moments, she just wanted to kiss the man that she had loved for half her life. She wanted to thank him for granting her a quick death and freeing her. Hua Xiqian really wanted to cry. However, he knew that he couldn't because Ian was still looking at him from behind. He couldn't act like a coward like a normal person. That would only expose his shortcomings. Sir, he killed her. Ian's subordinate reported to Ian. Ian slowly put down his wine glass. He stood up and smiled. Hua, how could you kill her? Now I'm done for. Hua Xiqian stood up and shoved Emo Schweier's body onto the ground. Then he tidied up his messy collar and turned around with a faint smile. This woman is too hateful. She has framed me so many times. When I saw her just now, my emotions surged and I couldn't control myself. For someone like her, even if she died 100 times, it wouldn't be a pity. I hope Sir won't blame me. Of course not. Why would I blame you? Now that she's dead, I can't play with her anymore. Are you interested in having dinner with me? Ian asked. I'm willing. Although he was slightly sad, he still didn't want Ian's. He didn't want Ian's his face still, he didn't want Ian's he didn't look at all. He didn't. Because of Ian's current identity, it was impossible for him to swagger to a restaurant in the city. Finally, Hwasichyan brought Ian to a remote mansion in the suburbs. On the TV, the female host said with a serious expression, "The Municipal Bureau just released information on the suspects of the Seong family tragedy. They are a group of foreign men. Their photos are below. If you have any leads, please call us. The Municipal Bureau is offering a hefty reward." Below the TV were a few portraits of Ian and his men. Because the surveillance cameras were tampered with, the Municipal Bureau hired a few witnesses. Based on their descriptions, the artists from the Public Security Bureau drew up portraits of them. Then they put them on the wanted list. The police in your country are so useless. They're so inefficient. Ian sighed arrogantly. Chapter 2358. Sir, even the FBI can't do anything to you, let alone these idiots. Hwasichyan said respectfully. Then Hwasichyan's personal chef brought the steaks to the table. Ian's steak was medium rare and there was still blood on it. Is it overcooked? Ian said as he looked at the steak. His subordinate immediately took out his gun and shot at the chef. The old chef fell to the ground with a loud thud. Hwasichyan didn't even blink. He lowered his head and ate his steak. His steak was medium rare as well and it still tasted like blood. The taste of the beef is so damn good. I'll take you to eat something fresher next time. Ian laughed. Hwasichyan felt like vomiting. My brother misses you a lot. How long has it been since you went back to see him? Ian asked casually as he cut his steak. I've been busy with the company so I haven't gone back in a long time. Mr. Nalo, how is he? It's fine. My brother still hasn't gotten rid of his homosexuality. Oh, I see that you're still single. If you don't like women, why don't you get together with my brother? After all, he loves you so much. You must be joking, Sir Ian. Hwasichyan smiled without any emotion on his face. You don't have any feelings for the woman who just died, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't be eating steak with me so happily after killing her with your own hands, right? Ian asked as if he was testing Hwasichyan. Yes, I don't have any feelings for her at all. It seems like the rumors I heard are true? Ian put down his knife and fork and looked at Hwasichyan with interest. Sir, what rumors are you talking about? Hwasichyan stopped what he was doing and looked up at Ian. As far as I know, you've always liked a girl. Upon hearing this, Hwasichyan's heart skipped a beat. I also heard that the girl is one of your little sisters. Hwasichyan began to feel uneasy. What he feared the most was that Ian would discover Hwamin's identity. As for the girl, Ian paused and stared at Hwasichyan. Instead, she looked into Hwasichyan's eyes and asked, Hwa, are you hiding something from me? No, sir, why do you ask? Hwasichyan calmly looked into Ian's eyes. I feel like there's something important that you haven't told me. Sir, you're overthinking it. I wouldn't dare to do that. Hwasichyan began to feel Hwasichyan's words. Forget it. Let's not talk about this first. Let's talk about the girl you like. Is she pretty? Ian asked with a smile. Hwasichyan didn't know what to say. He didn't want to reveal anything about Hwamin to Ian. He didn't want to be tainted by the devil. Too embarrassed to say it? Then I'll ask you directly. Is she the girl in this photo? Ian suddenly had a photo in his hand. It was a photo of Hwamin's daily life. It was taken on campus when he was still in university. She had a high ponytail and was holding a book in her hand. She had a sweet smile on her face. Under the sunlight, she looked especially lively. Sir, how did you? Hwasichyan was shocked. Wasn't this the photo he kept? How did Ian have it? Chapter 2359. It's really her? She looks pretty good. Although I don't have the same aesthetic standards as you Asians, this girl's pretty cute when she smiles, right? But looking at this picture, it reminds me of someone. Ian said slowly as he held Hwamin's picture in his hand. Who? Hwasichyan asked anxiously. That little vixen Lu Yen. Ian smirked. Hwasichyan felt like his head was about to explode when he heard this. Did Ian know something? Why are you so nervous? Look at your expression. Ian looked at Hwasichyan and laughed. Why do you think she looks like Lu Yen? It's just a feeling. It's an indescribable feeling. Ian looked at the picture carefully. Then Mr. Ian, you must be mistaken. This is my little sister. She grew up here and is the daughter of my foster father Hu Jinghai. Although she's not related to me by blood, We've always been close. So she can't be the person you're looking for. Why are you so nervous? I didn't say she's the person I'm looking for. I just said she looks like Lu Yan. I didn't say she's Professor Lu's daughter. But since you're so nervous about her, it must be true love. Hua Xiqin bit down on his lips and didn't say anything. He didn't want to say yes, but he also didn't want to say no. Talking to Ian was indeed tiring. I didn't think you'd really fall in love with a girl. Back then I made a bet with Nalo. I thought we were the same kind of people who loved themselves the most. Nalo used to think so as well. If he knew you had a girl you liked, he would be very disappointed. After all, he wouldn't have a chance. Mr. Ian, please don't joke around. Hua Xiqin replied awkwardly. Hua, I came here to help you get rid of your enemies. My main purpose is to help you. Is there anything you need? I really don't need anything. I'm already very happy that you helped me get revenge, Hua Xiqin quickly replied. But you haven't gotten the girl you like yet. There's no need for that. She's already married and has a child, Hua Xiqin said calmly. That's easy. I can help you kill her husband and child. Ian said casually. Hua Xiqin was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. Hua Xiqin panicked. You can't do that, master. I don't want that. I don't want her to hate me for the rest of her life. She won't hate you. After I help you kill her family, you can imprison her and feed her our special drug KB90. I guarantee that after she takes it for a period of time, she will listen to you obediently and be at your mercy. Isn't it easy to get a woman? I'm also interested in that little vixen Lu Yan. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to catch her. Otherwise, I would have done the same to her. I don't want that. I want her to follow me willingly. Hua Xiqin lowered his head and said slowly. You Asians are so pretentious. As long as you have her, you don't care if she's willing or not. I care about the result, not the process. There's really no need for that. I want to take care of this myself. Hua Xiqin said firmly. This was the first time he disobeyed Ian. Mr. Hua, don't be so ungrateful. Our master is helping you out of kindness. Ian's subordinate said coldly as he looked at Hua Xiqin. Chapter 2360. Sigh, forget it. If he doesn't appreciate my kindness, then I won't say anything more. It's getting dark, so let's go out and continue hunting. If I don't do something on a night like this, my heart will feel empty. Then Ian finished the last piece of half-cooked steak and slowly stood up. Goodbye, sir. I'll stay for a few more days. This place is very interesting. Then Ian turned around and left the mansion. Hua Xiqin, on the other hand, began to feel uneasy. He knew that Ian had gone out to harm innocent girls again. He didn't care about those things. What he cared about was Hua Min's safety. How much did Ian know about Hua Min? And that photo. At this thought, his face became extremely gloomy. Inside the Hua family mansion, all 5 of Hua Xiqin's trusted subordinates were present. Boss, you called us back in such a hurry. Do you have something to tell us? One of them asked. Hua Xiqin didn't say anything. He played with a Swiss Army knife in his hand. It was extremely sharp. Ian's here, Master Ian. Is that the terrorist leader? All 5 of his subordinates were shocked. Yes, Ian's here this time. Must have a purpose. It's not as simple as sightseeing, and it's definitely not as simple as killing the Xiang family and Mo Shuer to avenge me. So I want to ask you guys, who's the closest to Ian? After speaking, Hua Xiqin looked back at his subordinates and glared at them coldly. His subordinates felt their hair stand on end under his stare. Boss, what are you talking about? Even you have a hard time meeting Master Ian, let alone us. I don't even know if Master Ian is a man or a woman, fat or thin, round or flat. Aching, who had been with Hua Xiqin for the longest, replied. But Ian knows about Mian. My feelings for Mian are different from Suyu's. The whole world knows that Suyu likes Mian, but only me and Mian know about my feelings for her. And of course you guys, boss. Are you suspecting that we betrayed you? A few of his subordinates panicked. Hua Xiqin glanced at them coldly. You guys have been with me for the longest time, so you know how I do things. Don't blame me for not holding back. Whoever did it, come out now and admit it like a man. I won't make things difficult for his family. Otherwise, don't blame me for not showing mercy. After Hua Xiqin finished speaking, no one said anything. You don't want to admit it? Then don't blame me for disregarding our brotherhood. Boss, you're really observant. Maybe Master Ian is trying to drive a wedge between us. Our brothers have risked their lives to work for you. Which one of them hasn't killed anyone? We would never do something like that. Please don't wrongly accuse our brothers. Oching's expression was very strong, as if he really wanted to show his determination. The money I usually give you isn't a small amount, right? Huasiqian suddenly asked. None of them said a word. You guys used to be street thugs and now you all have luxury cars, mansions and even 2 or 3 wives. I've treated you guys well. But you know that Mion is taboo in Ian's eyes. Mion is my weakness, so why did you guys tell on her? Did you think that Ian would make an exception and promote you? Do you know what kind of person Ian is? Do you know how terrifying his methods are? Huasiqian roared. All 5 of his subordinates lowered their heads and remained silent. This is your last chance. Are you going to tell me or not? Huasiqian was exasperated. Chapter 2361. Seeing that no one said anything, Huasiqian slowly walked up to the last person. It was a young man in his 20s with red lips and white teeth. He was quite handsome. How do I treat you? You're my last brother. Although we've only been together for a short time, I'm not biased towards you at all. Boss, I know you treat me like a second parent. I won't do anything to betray you. The young man named Awang was so scared that he quickly explained. Really? But I heard that you lost more than 8 million yuan at the Horsehead Gang's underground money house. I don't remember you having that much money. After Huasiqian finished speaking, the others all turned their heads and looked at Awang strangely. I did lose money, but I didn't betray boss. Really? I don't think you're still alive after owing 8 million yuan to the Horsehead Gang. So, did you sell the information to the Horsehead Gang or did you use Ian's money to pay off your debt? Boss, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. It really wasn't me. Awang still refused to admit it. Awang, if I remember correctly, your son is in the 1st grade of elementary school, right? Your dumb wife from the countryside and your mother have moved to the residential area on Guizhong South Road, right? I bought that house for you. Awang knelt on the ground with a thud. Boss, I'm sorry. I didn't want to. I really can't afford to pay off the money. I didn't know those people were Ian's people. They helped me pay off my debt and gave me a lot of money. I was greedy for money. I thought it wouldn't be a big deal if I told them about your relationship with Miss Hua. At least it wouldn't hurt you. I was confused. Awang finally couldn't resist Huasiqian's interrogation and confessed everything. You dog. Boss treats you so well, but you. Oching couldn't help but kick him. Boss, I was confused. Don't hurt my family, okay? My mother and my wife are from the countryside. They don't know anything. My son is innocent. Now you're scared? I gave you a chance just now. Why didn't you say anything? Huasiqian asked coldly. I'm afraid of death, afraid that boss will kill me, coward. Huasiqian cursed. At first he didn't suspect his men until Ian took out the photo. That photo was from his study and no one else could touch it except for his trusted aide. Therefore he guessed that there must be a mole. After some investigation they found out that Awang had gambling debts. Boss, please give me a chance. I'll make it up to you. I'll go kill Ian, okay? Kill Ian. Huasiqian felt that this was the funniest joke he had ever heard. As long as you don't kill me, I'll do anything you want me to do. Awang knelt on the ground and begged while hugging Huasiqian's thigh. It's too late to regret now. Huasiqian squatted down and held Awang's neck with one hand. The military knife in his other hand pierced through Awang's neck. His main artery burst and blood flowed out. The other 4 men were scared out of their wits. However, they knew that their boss did this in front of them as an example to others. Drag him out. He's dirtying my floor. Huasiqian pulled out the military knife and wiped his hand with a white handkerchief. Yes, boss. Should we send someone to watch Master Ian? Oching asked anxiously. Chapter 2362. No, it'll be even more troublesome if Ian finds out. He's already suspicious of me, or else he wouldn't have bribed Awang to look into my private affairs. That's all for now. You guys can leave now, I'll think about it. Huasiqian sent his remaining subordinates away. It had been a long time since he last killed someone, but this time he killed 2 people in a row. First it was Emoshware and now it was his subordinates. Huasiqian suddenly realized that he was in a bad mood after killing people. He turned around and walked into his study. He carefully put the photo of Hua Min that Ian left on the dining table back into the drawer and locked it. Then he took out his phone and sent a message to Hwamin. Mion, are you there? Question mark. After a while, Hwamion replied with a question mark. If you're not busy at Southside, can you take a long vacation? There's been too much going on lately and it's not peaceful here. I'm worried that you'll be in danger. You don't have to worry about me, I still have my husband. You don't understand. I'm just doing this for your own good. Hwasichien was anxious and wanted to persuade Hwamin not to go to work at Southside. It was best for her to go abroad and lie low for a while, but he couldn't tell her that Ian was here. Otherwise, Hwamin would feel even more uneasy if she found out. Mion, don't you know how I feel about you? Do you think that I would hurt you? First of all, I'm not Hwamin. Second of all, you don't have to worry about my wife, you should worry about yourself. After hearing this reply, Hwasichien's mood exploded. It turned out that the other party was Chin Chu. He had Hwamin's phone. It really made Hwasichien. Seeing that it was Chin Chu, Hwasichien stopped texting. Hwamin came out of the bathroom and looked at Chin Chu as he dried his hair with a towel. Oh, someone's holding my phone. Is he checking on me? Hwamin chuckled. Yeah, I'm checking to see if you've been good lately. Have you been flirting with other girls? What if I have? Will you beat me up? Hwamin laughed. If you do, I'll help you get rid of those girls. But I can't beat my wife. After all, I only have one. If I beat her up and run out, where am I going to find another one as smart as her? Chin Chu half-joked as he put his phones down on the bed. She didn't mention a word about Hwasichien's text message and deleted all the records. Chin Chu didn't mean to hide it from Hwamion. He just didn't want Hwasichien to appear in their lives. Hwa-s. T. B. T-socket. Chin Chu picked up the towel and gently helped her dry her still wet hair. So you like seeing me jealous? Then I'll eat it every day, okay? Chin Chu said on purpose. No, I can't take it if I eat it every day, huh? Hwamin looked down and played with his phone. Just then he saw Zhu Lingling send him a voice message. She pressed it slowly and then put it close to her ear to listen to Lingling's voice. Mion, did you see the news? What news? Hwamin knew that something big had happened when Zhu Lingling asked this question. Mo Schwerer is dead. She died in a basement. It's very scary, Zhu Lingling said. What? Mo Schwerer is dead? Her body was found. Hwamin was shocked and immediately got up from his bed. Chapter 2363. I found her, she was in a basement. My husband brought people to the crime scene and he said it was horrifying. Mo Schwerer was tortured before she died and the cause of her death was a stab to the heart. It was so tragic. I never thought that a superstar like her would have such a tragic end. Zhu Lingling lamented. Hwamin furrowed her brows slightly. To be honest, she hated Mo Schwerer, but she never thought that she would one day die in such a way. It was truly a pity. It's really shocking, Hwamin said slowly as she bit her lip. It's been really chaotic lately. My husband said that there's a psycho killer in our city. He told me not to go out after dark. You two, you have to take care of yourself, especially the twins. Don't let them go out. Let's wait until the killer is caught. So scary. So many people have died already. The girl from the Xiong family hasn't even died yet, and now Mo Schwerer is involved. It's really tragic. Oh right, I heard that Mo Schweger's family and fans went to Hwasichien's company to cause trouble, Zhu Lingling said. They went to Hwasichien's company to cause trouble? Why? Hwamin was curious. Oh, you idiot. Mo Schweger didn't have a boyfriend. Wasn't Hwasichien the only boyfriend she publicly admitted to all these years? Now that she's dead, of course someone has to come out and vent their anger. But Mo Schweger broke off her relationship with Hwasichien and has been hiding in the Xiong family with Old Master Xiong. But Old Master Xiong is dead and the Xiong family is almost all dead. Of course they can't come out and be the scapegoat. So Hwasichien is the best candidate. Hwasichien isn't someone to be trifled with. If we get too close to him, it won't do anyone any good. What the Mo clan is doing isn't a wise decision, Hwamin analyzed calmly. You guessed wrong this time. Hwasichien really impressed me this time. I heard that not only did he not chase away the troublemakers, he even gave the Mo family a large sum of money as compensation and promised to hold a large memorial service for Mo Schwerer. The memorial service is tomorrow. Do you want to go? Me? Forget it, we're not even friends. It's better not to go. Hwamin shook his head. Well, that's true. Then you should go to work properly. Don't run around after work because the person hasn't been caught yet. Is the murderer really a foreigner? Huamin asked Zhu Lingling when he saw the news on TV. He was sure that Gao Ran knew the truth. Yeah, my husband said it's a foreigner. Who knows? I don't care, I don't want to worry about it. Let the police investigate it themselves. Zhu Lingling then said goodnight to Huamin and hung up. Honey, you don't look so good. What did Zhu Lingling say to you? Is it about Emo Shuiwer? Qin Chu asked softly as he hugged Huamin's shoulder. Yeah, it's all too sudden. Honey, you said that human life is actually very fragile, right? You might be fine yesterday, but the next day you might become a corpse. Huamin sighed as he leaned on Qin Chu's shoulder. Of course, humans are the most fragile creatures in the world. They can face any accident at any time, so we have to cherish every minute and every second of our lives, because a lifetime is really not long. How dare you say that? Someone disappeared for 4 years. Oh no, it was 11 years. There were 7 years before that. Huamin began to find fault with Huamin. Chapter 2364. Qin Chu rubbed his forehead. He knew that his wife was angry. Then he brushed his lips across Huamin's ear. It was a gentle kiss. Someone don't hold a grudge. I'm willing to spend the rest of my life making it up to you. Qin Chu comforted her. The rest of your life isn't enough. If I live until I'm 80, then I still have 50 years left. Isn't that enough? Mrs. Qin, what else do you want? Qin Chu reached out and pinched Huamin's face lovingly. 50 years isn't enough. 500 is more like it. Huamin stubbornly replied. 500 years. Hey, your husband will work hard to find the elixir of immortality. Then we'll both live until we're 500 years old, and fulfill your wish. With Mr. Qin comforting her, Huamin didn't feel as sad. Plus, Mo Schweiger wasn't a friend to begin with. Death would only make people feel a little sad. Huamin took out her phone, opened Weibo, which she hadn't logged in for a long time, and posted a comment. People live for a lifetime, plants and trees for an autumn. There are only 2 things that people can't escape. One is karma, and the other is impermanence. Huamin didn't do it on purpose. He was just lamenting. She didn't think that it would provoke crazy fans to attack her. Many people replied to her post. Some of Mo Schweiger's fans even cursed at her. Woman, what are you trying to say? Are you being sarcastic? What do you mean by karma? Are you saying that our Schweiger deserves this? Is this karma? To the one above, watch your tone. Our Dr. Hua isn't that kind of person. Do you understand Chinese or not? It's scary to be uneducated. Huamin was just lamenting about the impermanence of life. Do you have to bite him like crazy dogs? Huamin scrolled through the comments on Weibo. She was silent, and her heart didn't waver at all. She wasn't someone who could be easily influenced by others. The next morning at breakfast, only Qin Chu and Huamin were there. Where's Ningning? Are you still in bed? Huamian asked. I'm afraid she's already gone out. She's been leaving early and returning late recently. I wonder what she's busy with? She's probably going back to America, so she can't bear to part with Tang Chuan. The 2 of them are in love, so it's normal that they can't bear to part with each other. Huamin smiled as he picked up the milk and drank it. Honey, Huamin tilted his head and looked at Qin Chu. Is the hospital busy recently? I'm fine. I'm not very busy, but I'm not free either. Why are you asking me this? Huamin was curious. I mean, if you're not busy, let's go on a vacation. Vacation? Huamin was stunned. Today's a good day. Why don't you take the day off? Qin Chu asked tentatively. Today? Hubby. I don't think the company is so free that you can go on vacation whenever you want. What's wrong? Why are you acting so weird today? Huamin felt that something was wrong. Oh no. Didn't Little Bean and Pudding talk about going to Wuzhou to eat hairy crabs? So I was wondering if we should go on a vacation for a few days. But we can't leave right away. Let's wait for a while. The General Hospital will send more doctors to South Side. By then I think I won't be so busy anymore. We can go on a vacation for a few days. It was obvious that Huamin didn't want to leave right away. Okay, that's a good idea. Qin Chu lowered his head and drank his milk worriedly. He didn't dare to continue persuading Huamin. Chapter 2365. With his wife's intelligence, she would definitely get suspicious if he said too much. Honey, I have a meeting in the morning. I have to go, I'll drive you. Qin Chu immediately put down the unfinished bread in his hand and stood up. It's okay, I can do it myself. I'll drive you. No matter what Huamin said, Qin Chu refused to let her go to work alone. In the end, he insisted on driving Huamin to South Side. Before they got out of the car, Qin Chu held Huamin's hand and looked at her affectionately. Honey, I'll pick you up after work. Don't go alone. I don't know what time I'll get off work. If I have an emergency surgery, I might have to work overtime. That's okay, I'll wait for you. Just wait for me to pick you up, Qin Chu said worriedly. Okay. Huamin nodded and walked towards the hospital. Qin Chu waited for Huamin to enter the hospital before he drove away. In an inconspicuous alley opposite the hospital, Ian smiled. Ian stood there and smiled. It seems that her lover dotes on her very much. Sir, should we kidnap her? One of his subordinates asked in a low voice. No, I'm tired of kidnapping. I have a better game. Ian smiled evilly. After Huamin entered his office, Qin Jie walked in with a stack of documents. Vice Director, these are the documents for the morning meeting. Please take a look. Huamin looked up at Qin Jie and smiled slightly. Why are you back so soon? Didn't I give you a long break? Qin Jie and Ni Yang had just gotten married, so Huamin gave her special permission to take more time off. He didn't expect her to come back so soon. She was quite friendly. I couldn't stay, it was too boring. Qin Jie smiled. Did Ni Yang let you come to work? He's busy writing new songs every day. We have to get back on track, it's not good to be together all the time. Qin Jie's face reddened slightly. Okay, leave the documents here. I'll look at them in a bit. Okay, don't forget to drink some lemonade. I heard it has whitening effects. Qin Jie reminded. Huamin smiled and nodded. After Qin Jie left, Huamian fell into deep thought. She was thinking about something. Everyone seemed to want her to go on vacation. Both Hua Xiqian and Qin Chu said the same thing. This is too strange. Could it be that something big is going to happen soon? Did they want to send her away? Huamian felt like something was wrong, but she didn't know who to ask. She turned Huamin's father. Hua Xiqian wore a black suit and held Mo Schweiger's photo in his hand. He walked at the front, followed by a large group of fans. Jiang Yi, who hadn't shown up in a while, was also in the crowd. Su Yi didn't go, but he sent some couplets. After all, they were all in the entertainment industry and many of Imperial Star's artists were in attendance. After all, this was a chance for them to show up and get some attention. Huamin looked at it and didn't find any valuable clues. She got up and walked towards the conference room. At the entrance of the city's largest funeral parlor, Gao Ran brought his men here to maintain law and order. He was afraid that someone would cause trouble. After all, this was a crowded place. Inside the police car, Gao Ran sipped on a can of Coke, feeling anxious. Chief Gao, it's been so long and we've already issued a warrant. It doesn't make sense that we can't find the culprit. There aren't many foreigners in the first place, so they should have attracted a lot of attention. Could it be that they've already left the city? Escaped? The subordinate police officer guessed. Chapter 2366. Gao Ran shook his head. No way. Why would someone like that run away? After hearing Qin Chu's explanation of Ian's identity, Gao Ran was certain that Ian wouldn't run away like a coward. Then how come there's no news at all? There's not even a witness. Don't they need to eat or drink? Gao Ran was also puzzled. Why was there no news at all? Logically speaking, the city bureau's portrait artist should have a high degree of authenticity. How could there be no clues at all after a few days? Gao Ran didn't know that Ian could change his face at any time. He and his men could change their masks at will. That day at the restaurant, when Rick and Cece met Ian, his face wasn't Ian's. So, how did Gao Ran catch someone who could change his face at any time? Did you find anything suspicious at Mo Schweiger's death scene? Gao Ran asked with a frown. Not yet. We also found some blood and hair. We sent it for testing, but the results aren't out yet. Okay, I got it. Gao Ran was even more depressed. His superiors had given him a strict order to give an explanation for these murders. Xiang Exen was a socialite, Mr. Xiang was a respectable businessman, and now Mo Schweiger was an influential celebrity. 3 lives in just a few days. Really caught everyone off guard. Hua Xiqian killed Mo Schweiger with his own hands that day, but Ian's men had already taken care of all the evidence. So the police wouldn't suspect Hua Xiqian. Plus he had a lot of alibis. If it weren't for Ian, Gao Ran might have already arrested Huasiqian and taken him back to the police station for tea. But now, it was getting more and more confusing. After Huamin came back from his morning meeting, he took out his phone and scrolled through his WeChat moments. He saw that Cici had posted a photo of the airport with only one sentence: "Start a beautiful new life." Huamin knew that she and Rick had left the city for America. But would Cici be able to find a new life there? He thought of Rick's family dispute and his fiancée, Luna, who was the daughter of a mafia boss. Huamin broke out in cold sweat for Cici. While she was in a daze, her phone rang. It was a video call from Little Bean. Huamin instantly became gentle when he saw his daughter's profile picture. "Little Bean," she said gently. "Mommy, what are you doing?" "Mommy is at work." "Have you eaten?" "I've eaten." "What about you?" "Have you eaten with your sister?" "Yeah, we didn't eat at home. We ate outside. We ate salmon." Little Bean proudly showed off. "Outside? Did you go out with your grandparents?" Huamin asked. "No, Handsome Sue is here to pick us up," Little Bean said happily. Hearing that it was Suyu who picked up the twins, Huamin was relieved. "I see. Mommy, your makeup is a bit of a failure today." Little Bean suddenly pointed at Huamin's face. "Huh." Huamin froze and touched her face subconsciously, not knowing what went wrong. "You should use a brighter eyeshadow. Your coffee-colored eyeshadow makes you look haggard." "Okay, you little girl. Mommy doesn't need your guidance." Huamin smiled. "Mommy, Uncle Sue said that the seafood here is good. Do you want to come and eat with us?" "It's still early, you're probably still on your lunch break, right?" Little Bean asked. Upon hearing Little Bean's words, Huamin looked down at her watch. Chapter 2367. "I can't, baby. I don't have time. Mommy has to go to work in half an hour." "Mommy, are you the vice director? You don't have to be so serious." "I can't do that. Mommy has to follow the rules too. Otherwise, it'll be hard to convince others." "Okay. Then we'll continue eating. Don't be jealous." "Okay. Go ahead. After breakfast, Uncle Sue will drive you guys back." After hanging up, Little Bean pouted. Pudding reached out her hand. "Give me the money. 100 yuan. Little Bean reluctantly took out 100 yuan and put it in her sister's hand. "I told you Mommy won't come. She won't delay work because of food," Pudding said confidently. "I thought Mommy wouldn't be so rigid after she became the vice director." "Who knew?" Little Bean was so disappointed in her mommy. Suyu laughed. "It's impossible for your mommy not to be rigid. I've known her for so many years, but she's still so bad-tempered. So why are you so stubborn? Why do you like her?" Little Bean glared at Suyu and asked. Suyu didn't know how to answer Little Bean's question. "It's because Mommy doesn't like others that Handsome Sue likes her. Handsome Sue wouldn't like her if she was a slut who can be found everywhere on the street. What do you know? This is called rare things are precious." Pudding emphasized. "But you two win." "I don't know what to say." Suyu lowered his head and ate in silence. "Hey, by the way sis, you're so smart. Why don't you give us an analysis of who the psycho killer is?" Little Bean seemed to be very interested in this shocking murder case. Pudding, on the other hand, casually ate her sushi and replied, "The people who died were unrelated to us, so I'm not interested in analyzing them. I don't care who they are as long as it has nothing to do with the people around us." "Okay, you're being arrogant again. You're just like Daddy." Little Bean's enthusiasm was instantly extinguished. "Handsome Sue, I heard that a woman in your company is chasing you?" Little Bean changed the topic and asked Suyu. "Ahem. Who did you hear this rumor from?" Suyu almost choked. "Big Brother and never makes up rumors. It must be true." Little Bean immediately betrayed and Suyu turned around and coldly glanced at Anne's poker face. Shaoen's eyes darted left and right, pretending not to look at Suyu's terrifying eyes. "So what's the situation? Don't tell me it's another woman like Bitch Jian?" Little Bean asked. "There's no such thing. Don't listen to his nonsense. Handsome Sue, I'm warning you. Don't attract bad girls. The problem is you're not the only one who's troubled. Every single one of those girls is trying to pick on my mommy. She's innocent." Little Bean began to defend her mommy. Let's not talk about this anymore. I didn't treat the two of you to sushi so that you can attack me." Suyu laughed. "She's the one who bombarded you, not us." Pudding emphasized. "What do you mean? You're not on my side anymore?" Little Bean looked at her sister. I've never been on your side. Please, don't drag me into this, Pudding said righteously. By the way, why haven't I seen Tang Chuan recently? Every time I ask him to drink he says he's busy. Isn't he chasing after your auntie? Does he go to your house often? You asked. No. Not only do you not see Uncle Tang, but our auntie also leaves early and comes home late. I don't know what they're busy with. Maybe one day they'll give us a younger brother or sister. Little Bean guessed. Suyu almost spat out the sushi in his mouth. So, your auntie doesn't plan on going back to the States? Suyu asked curiously. Chapter 2368. Who knows? Second Grandpa is furious. If Auntie doesn't go back, he'll probably bring bodyguards to arrest her. Little Bean guessed. Suyu chuckled. Now young Master Tang has something to do. Inside a coffee shop, Tang Chuan and Qin Ning were having a date here. As soon as Qin Ning sat down, Tang Chuan went around to buy her coffee. Then he added sugar and milk, taking care of her in every possible way. Ning Ning, you seem a bit off today. What's wrong? Tang Chuan noticed that Qin Ning was a lot less talkative than usual today. Tang Chuan, I might have to go back to the States. Oh? Tang Chuan nodded. Then he tore open a bag of sugar and added it to his coffee. That's all you said? Qin Ning felt uncomfortable seeing Tang Chuan's reaction to her. Just one. Oh, what does that mean? He didn't care if she went back? Then why should she be sad? What else can I do? Cry? Tang Chuan grinned. So it doesn't matter to you whether I go or not? Qin Ning stood up to leave. Hey Ning Ning, where are you going? I don't want to drink anymore. You can drink it yourself. Don't. Madam, sit down and listen to me. Why are you so short-tempered? You have no patience at all. Tang Chuan grabbed Qin Ning's arm and pushed her back to her seat. Speak. Qin Ning's face was cold. She turned her head to the side and didn't look at Tang Chuan's face. Weren't I busy making coffee when you were telling me about it? So, I didn't have time to tell you. Actually, what I meant was that I didn't want you to go back to the States, but I had no choice. After all, you're a senior in the company and your dad only has one daughter. So, you have to go back sooner or later, right? So, Qin Ning's face darkened. So, I was thinking, why don't we go somewhere before you go? Then, no matter if you go back to the States or to England, France, or Italy, I'll be at ease. Tang Chuan took a few sips of his coffee and sipped it carefully. Then he took a sip and carefully handed it to Qin Ning when he felt that it wasn't hot. It's not hot anymore. Here, drink this. Tang Chuan handed the coffee. Qin Ning wasn't in the mood to drink coffee. She was thinking about Tang Chuan's words. Chuan, what do you mean? I'm going back to China. Where are you taking me? Qin Ning frowned. The Civil Affairs Bureau. Tang Chuan said in a serious tone. Why are we going to the Civil Affairs Bureau? Qin Ning was confused. To get a certificate, get married. Get married. Qin Ning finally realized what was going on. Tang Chuan held his cup of coffee and blew on it carefully. Tang Chuan, why? Isn't the purpose of our relationship to get married? Or are you just playing around with me? Ning, I haven't loved someone so seriously in a long time. Are you really going to abandon me? Tang Chuan cried and started to act shamelessly. No, that's not what I meant. The problem is, getting married is a big deal. It's not a game. Qin Ning felt it was too sudden and didn't know what to say. So, you don't want to marry me at all, right? Tang Chuan pouted, looking like he had lost his soul. Oh no. It's too sudden. I'm not ready. Qin Ning was confused. But I'm ready. Ning Ning, listen to me. Once we get the marriage certificate, we'll be legally married. No matter who opposes us, no one will be able to affect our relationship. How perfect would that be? Tang Chuan looked at Qin Ning with a smile on his face. But, Qin Ning stuttered. She didn't know what to say. Chapter 2369. Looking at Qin Ning's hesitant expression, Tang Chuan felt uneasy. This girl had clearly seen through his feelings, but why was she still? Could it be that he had pushed him too hard? Seeing that Tang Chuan's face was dark and he didn't say anything, Qin Ning thought Tang Chuan was angry. She quickly grabbed his hand and explained. Listen, Tang Chuan, I don't want to marry you. It's not that I don't like you, and it's not that I don't want to marry you. Ever since my mother passed away when I was young, my father didn't want me to be wronged, so he didn't find me a stepmother. Even though I had a lot of girlfriends in the company, in the end, No woman was able to marry me. I'm very grateful to him for that, and I know that it wasn't easy for him. He raised me all these years and he had to be both a father and a mother. He also had to manage such a big company, so it's normal for him to be irritable and weird. But I can't just act first and ask for permission because of my selfishness. That's disrespectful to him and he'll be very sad if he finds out. I can't bear to hurt him. Qin Ning patiently and gently explained to Tang Chuan. Oh, I know. Ning, don't be nervous. I'm not angry. I just suddenly thought of this idea to ask you. It's okay if we don't get married. After all, you didn't do anything wrong. We're not cheating on each other and we're not having an affair. We're both in a relationship and of course we'll be the same when we get married. So I won't be angry, don't worry. After listening to Qin Ning, Tang Chuan understood. As long as the girl didn't reject the proposal because she wasn't sure about her feelings for him, it was fine. Then when I go back to the States, will you miss me? Qin Ning pursed her lips and asked shyly. She lowered her head and didn't even dare to look directly into Tang Chuan's eyes. After all, it was her first love and she had no experience. She was just shy like a little girl. No. Tang Chuan's answer was very straightforward. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Qin Ning was obviously unhappy. Yeah, I'm telling the truth. Why would I miss you? After Tang Chuan said this, Qin Ning's face turned green. Then, without waiting for her to speak, Tang Chuan continued. After all, we can see each other every day. What else is there to think about? Day and night? You're talking about video chat? But the time difference between America and China is different. Qin Ning was a little worried. Are you stupid? Don't you understand what I mean? Tang Chuan crossed his arms and looked at Qin Ning. You're a genius who became a director at such a young age. What do you mean? Hurry up and tell me. Don't beat around the bush or I'm going to get mad. Qin Ning was confused, but she wasn't sure what Tang Chuan meant. What can I mean? I'm just going home to pack my luggage and go with you, Tang Chuan said casually. Come with me. Then will your family agree? Qin Ning frowned slightly. She felt that Tang Chuan's action was too reckless. Last time, when they heard that he was in the States for more than a month, the elders of the Tang family were furious and even questioned Suyu. Don't worry, if my family could control me, I wouldn't be Tang Chuan, Qin Ning. Okay, even if you can control your family, what about my dad? He said that if you want to be with me, you have to. Qin Ning paused, but she knew that Tang Chuan would understand what she meant. Chapter 2370. I know, I have to be a live-in son-in-law. So you're saying yes? Qin Ning froze. Yeah, what else can I do? Do I have a choice? I want to marry you, I want to be with you, so I'll do as you say. Tang Chuan giggled. Stop messing around, this isn't a small matter. Qin Ning was clearly unhappy with Tang Chuan's playful attitude. Ning, I'm not messing around, when did I joke about this? I'm serious. But I don't want to restrict your personal freedom because of me. I know you don't want to live like that in the States, and the Tang family won't allow their son to be a live-in son-in-law. I don't want to make things difficult for you. Qin Ning was thinking about Tang Chuan and didn't want to do this. She didn't want to selfishly force Tang Chuan to compromise, sacrifice his dignity, and let others laugh at him for being a grown man. In the end, he had to marry into an old woman's family. Ning, I know what you're thinking, but, to put it simply, we're in love and want to be together, but we don't have a better way right now, so let's just go along with your daddy's wishes. Let's not be pretentious. If we have to think too much about everything we do, life will be so tiring. Do you know why I also admire our sister-in-law, Huamin? Tang Chuan asked excitedly. Qin Ning shook her head in confusion. What I admire the most about our sister-in-law isn't her high IQ or calm personality, but her decisiveness when she makes a decision. Many men can't compare to her. Just like when we were all worried about how to save your brother from being framed and locked up in prison, our sister-in-law made up her mind and took the blame in court. She shocked so many people and she didn't discuss it with anyone. So let's not think too much about it. No matter what I do or what you do, as long as the result is good for both of us and we can be happy together, that's enough, don't you think? Tang Chuan was a very easygoing person. He was cheerful and always laughed. He wasn't as domineering as Suyu, nor was he as calm as Wei Liao, and he rarely talked about big things. However, what he said today really shocked Qin Ning. She thought about what Tang Chuan said and was suddenly enlightened. Tang Chuan, you're right. As long as we can be happy together, we don't care about anything else. Then you should pack up, we'll go back tomorrow. Qin Ning was in a very good mood. I'm all packed, don't worry. Now what we need to do is eat in peace. Madam, I'm starving, can we not just drink coffee? Can you be more generous and treat me to a pizza? Tang Chuan asked jokingly. Qin Ning burst out laughing. Okay, young Master Tang, I'll treat you to 10 pizzas. After all, you're part of our family from now on. Okay, since you're my sugar daddy, you have to treat me well from now on. Tang Chuan continued to tease her. Qin Ning got goosebumps when she heard what he said. Some people were in love, some people were sad, some people were happy, and some people were sad. Tang Chuan and Qin Ning agreed to go back to the States together, so both of them were very happy. Qin Chu, on the other hand, was worried every day because of Ian's arrival. He had been looking for Ian's whereabouts, but to no avail. Indeed, Qiao Fei and Lu Yan weren't exaggerating, Ian was just too powerful. Worried that Ian would harm Huamin, Qin Chu was always absent-minded at work. He even zoned out during the morning meeting. This was the first time Mr. Qin had been so absent-minded during a meeting. Chapter 2371. President Qin, this is our marketing department's latest proposal, what do you think? After the marketing director introduced the project, he sincerely asked Qin Chu for his opinion. However, Qin Chu didn't respond at all because he was thinking about something else. President Qin? President Qin? Assistant Yang cautiously reminded him. Yes. Qin Chu snapped back to reality. Director Wang's proposal has been introduced, what do you think? Assistant Yang repeated the marketing director's question. Qin Chu looked up listlessly and glanced at the blueprint on the big screen. Then he said, I'll think about it. Send the detailed proposal to my office and I'll discuss it after I've studied it. Hey President Qin. That's all for today. Meeting adjourned. Qin Chu stood up tiredly. After he walked out of the meeting room, Assistant Yang immediately handed him a bottle of water. President Qin, you've been in a bad mental state lately. Qin Chu unscrewed the cap of the water and took a big gulp. Then he sighed. It's very bad. Forgive me for being nosy, but did you get into an argument with President Hua? Assistant Yang asked. No, how could I bear to get into an argument with her? Qin Chu denied. Is it because there's something else that's bothering you? If you don't mind, you can tell me about it. It's getting more and more depressing if there's always something bothering you. It's nothing big. Maybe there's been too many things going on at the company lately, so I'm just frustrated. Why don't you and President Hua take the baby to Yunding Mountain and stay there for a few days? I see that you guys have always liked the hotel there. Bella, Director Jing and I are here at the company. We can handle it. Assistant Yang was being kind. It's okay, I'll adjust myself. Don't worry. Okay. Alright. President Qin, there's one more thing. What is it? Although Assistant Yang was a chatterbox, Qin Chu liked this assistant. Sometimes he even thought that Assistant Yang was a little cute. Can I get off work early tomorrow? Assistant Yang asked nervously. Why? It's because tomorrow is Valentine's Day. My wife wants me to go back early to accompany her. I don't know what's wrong with her recently, but she's obsessed with crosstalk. A famous crosstalk master is coming to perform in our city, and it starts at 4:30 p.m. so, can I leave half an hour earlier? Haha. Of course, I can work overtime for half an hour to make up for it. Approved. Qin Chu only said 2 simple words. Little Yang was very happy and kept thanking him. Thank you, President Qin. Thank you, President Qin. Ha. With that, Yang turned to leave. Wait a minute. Qin Chu stopped him. President Qin, do you have any other orders? If it's Valentine's Day, what should I give her? Qin Chu asked awkwardly. Boss, are you going to buy a gift for President Hua? Yang's eyes lit up. Just answer my question. Why do you have so much nonsense to say? Qin Chu snorted, a little embarrassed. How, President Qin, it's like this. Normally people give roses. Although it's vulgar, most women like it. I give my wife 99 roses every year forever and ever. Got it. You can leave now. Qin Chu waved his hand and sent Assistant Yang out. If it weren't for Assistant Yang's big mouth, Qin Chu would have forgotten that tomorrow was Valentine's Day. Qin Chu immediately began to struggle. What should he give his wife? He had to make up for the past 4 Valentine's Days that he missed. It seemed like he couldn't be careless this time. Therefore, President Qin fell into silence again. At noon she went to the hospital cafeteria for lunch with her assistant Chinjia. Sister Myung, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. What should President Chin give her? Chinjia asked curiously. Everyone knew that Chin Chu loved his wife like his life depended on it, so even Chinjia, who usually didn't like to gossip, was tempted to ask about it. Upon hearing Chinjia's question, Hwamin froze for a moment. Chapter 2372. It's Valentine's Day already. I wouldn't have remembered if you didn't mention it. Hwamin smiled. You don't care about anything when you're busy. Chinjia knew Hwamin's temper too well. What about you? How are you and Yong going to spend Valentine's Day together? He said he's going to take me out for dinner after work. Chinjia smiled sweetly. As expected of a newly married couple, they were filled with happiness. Oh, our Yong is a warm guy, and now that we're married he's even more of a cute husband. Ja, did you save the galaxy in your previous life? That's why you're so lucky to meet your idol. Hwamin teased. When it comes to saving the galaxy in your previous life, no one can compare to you. You have President Chin's love, you're the envy of everyone else. Okay, let's stop praising each other. Hurry up and eat, I still have surgery in the afternoon. Okay. Chinjia nodded and the two stopped talking. When Hwamin came out from work, Chin Chu was already waiting for him at the door. It was a black Bentley, low-key yet luxurious. Honey, how long have you been waiting? Hwamin smiled sweetly. I just got here too. In order not to make Hwamin feel guilty, Chin Chu didn't tell her that he had been waiting for half an hour. I had a surgery in the afternoon, I'm so tired and hungry. Hwamin sat in the passenger seat, completely relaxed. What do you want to eat? I'll take you. Aren't we going home to eat? Hwamin tilted her head and looked at Chin Chu. No, there's no one at home. Mom and Dad went out to have tea with an old friend, so you took Little Bean and Pudding to the Su family, and Ning Ning and Tang Chuan went somewhere to have fun. So, it's just the two of us at home. Hwamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Do you want Xan's ramen? Every time Hwamin thought about what to eat, she would always think of that ordinary and warm noodle restaurant in the time when she was young with Chin Chu. Then she would be filled with happiness. Chin Chu nodded, then turned the car around and drove in the direction of Second High School. Boss, 2 bowls of ramen, 1 big and 1 small, Chin Chu said. No, I want 2 big bowls today. I'm so hungry. Hwamin stuck out her tongue and acted like a spoiled child to Chin Chu. Chin Chu smiled dotingly, then turned around and corrected the boss. 2 big bowls then. Alright, I'll be right there. Wait a moment. Not long after, 2 bowls of steaming hot ramen were served, and the boss even gave away his homemade pickled vegetables. For people like Chin Chu and Hwamin who were used to eating all kinds of delicacies, this bowl of ramen was actually the most delicious thing in the world. Hwamin was really hungry. She didn't even have time to talk as she kept her head down and took big bites of the ramen. Slow down, don't burn yourself. You're so old already, but you're still acting like a kid. Chin Chu reminded her with a smile. I'm so hungry. I can't hold it in anymore. I'll talk to you after I finish eating, okay? Hwamin said as she ate. Chin Chu was afraid that Hwamin didn't have enough to eat, so he kept putting the beef in his bowl into her bowl. Just then, the old TV at the front desk of Aksan's Ramen started broadcasting the latest evening news. According to our latest news, a murder occurred in an alley near Hushi Road. The victim is a young woman whose identity is unknown. She died in the same way as Seong Exin, the youngest daughter of the Seong family, died a while ago. There was not a single drop of blood on her body. The police have arrived at the scene to seal it off. This is the 3rd case of a female victim after Seong Exin and Mo Shueyer's deaths. The psychopathic killer has appeared again and everyone is panicking. We hope that the police can solve this case as soon as possible. We will continue to follow this story, so please stay tuned. Chin Chu's expression changed slightly when he heard the news. He put down his chopsticks and coldly looked at the TV. Chapter 2373. The psychopathic murderer is out again? Gao Ran and the others haven't caught the murderer yet? Hwamin turned around and asked softly. Chin Chu shook his head. Looks like it's not Hua Xiqian. He never kills people that have nothing to do with him. Hwamin analyzed calmly. Yeah, it's not Hua Xiqian. He wouldn't do something so despicable, Chin Chu said with certainty. It's not peaceful anymore, everyone's worried. Everyone in the hospital is talking about it. I don't know what the murderer is trying to do. Why would he drain someone's blood out of nowhere? It's not like they're real vampires. It's disgusting. Huamin shook his head helplessly. Honey, you eat first, I need to go to the washroom. Qin Chu stood up. Huamin nodded. He didn't notice the subtle change in Qin Chu's expression. City Bureau Gao Ran flew into a rage and kicked the stool in front of him. His subordinates were so scared that they didn't dare to make a sound. I'm so pissed off. Another human life. This is easier than stepping on an ant. How lawless. You're addicted to killing, aren't you? Gao Ran couldn't help but curse. Chief Gao, the murderer is too cunning. We tried our best, don't blame yourself. One of the officers tried to persuade him. Bullshit, that's a human life. How can I not blame myself? What do we do for a living? Don't we take taxpayer money every month to ensure the safety of this area? Now the murderer is playing a killing game right under our noses and we can't do anything about it. This is our incompetence. Gao Ran slammed his fist on the wooden table, and a sharp pain and numbness came from his hand. Chief Gao, don't be angry. We'll do our best to investigate. Gao Ran was about to say something when his phone rang. Oh. He picked up the phone without looking at it. His attitude was extremely unfriendly. Wow, Chief Gao is so angry. Qin Chu teased. After hearing Qin Chu's voice, Gao Ran calmed down a lot. He waved his hand and dismissed his men. Don't make fun of me. Look at the situation now. Gao Ran sighed. I saw the news. Another person died. Have you found out who he is? She's just a 23-year-old salesperson. She's pretty and comes from a small town. She's been working here for more than 2 years. She usually rents an apartment with a few of her colleagues. I heard that she likes to hang out at bars. She met the murderer at a bar before he took her away and brutally killed her. The way she died is exactly the same as Xiang Xian's. So, Ian did it, right? Gao Ran asked. There's no doubt about it. It's definitely him. Qin Chu felt very uncomfortable whenever he heard Ian's name. It wasn't because he was afraid. It was because the enemy was in the dark while they were out in the open. Ian hid in a rat hole and didn't show his face, but he often popped out to kill people. They didn't know what his ultimate goal was, so Qin Chu was very, very worried about Huamin's safety. Damn it. Chu, you have to think of a way. I have to catch this psycho. I'm so pissed. I feel like a coward as a police officer. That feeling of failure. Gao Ran was very troubled. He no longer had his previous calmness and judgment. It's not your fault. I told you you can't deal with someone that even Lu Yen has to hide from. Qin Chu replied calmly. Are we just going to let him continue killing people like this? Are we just going to do nothing? Are we going to let a foreigner do whatever he wants and bully our innocent citizens? Gao Ran felt like he was going crazy. Chapter 2374. His superiors kept pressuring him, and as a high-ranking official of the municipal bureau, he was under a lot of pressure every single day. Not really, maybe. I can ask someone else. Qin Chu was deep in thought. Who? Don't worry about that for now, I'll let you know if I have any news. Old Gao, I advise you to tell your subordinates to be smart. Investigations are investigations, but don't provoke Ian. Who knows what he'll do? I know what you mean, don't worry. Okay, that's all for now. Qin Chu hung up the phone and walked out of the washroom. He was shocked to find that Huamin was no longer in her original spot. Mian? Qin Chu panicked. Seeing that there was no response, Qin Chu became even more anxious. Mian? He called out her name over and over again. Mr. Qin? What's wrong? The owner of the ramen shop immediately came over. Where's my wife? Did you see her? Oh, your wife. She just told me that she was going to buy a cup of milk tea next door. If you came out, she told me to tell you to wait for her here. Next door? Qin Chu didn't say anything else and immediately ran out. Sure enough, Huamin was still standing behind a few students at the milk tea shop next door. Seeing that she was fine, Qin Chu let out a long sigh of relief. Well, why are you here? Qin Chu walked up and held her hand. Oh, I was a bit thirsty after eating ramen. It's pretty cold outside, so I didn't want to drink cold soda. The milk tea shop next door is still the same and the taste is very pure. I suddenly missed it, so I came to line up on a whim. I told the owner to tell you. Yeah, he did. Qin Chu nodded. Then why are you still so nervous? Honey, you've been acting a bit weird lately, you're always so jumpy. Huamin covered her mouth and laughed. I'm not. I'm just worried about you, that something might happen to you. What could possibly happen to me? I'm the vice director of Southside, the famous Dr. Hua, Huamin said proudly. He leaned on Qin Chu's shoulder and began to boast narcissistically. Qin Chu touched her head helplessly, but in the end he couldn't help but scold her. Just like that, the couple lined up behind a few students, chatting as they waited, enjoying the most ordinary time. Hubby, do you still remember? When we were in school, I loved this shop's milk tea because it was cheap and delicious. But I couldn't get it often. Then on Valentine's Day you bought all the milk tea in this shop and only let me drink it. Other people wanted to buy it but they couldn't. I couldn't finish it all by myself. What a waste. Huamin felt very happy when he thought about his school days. Qin Chu nodded. Yeah, back then I thought that as long as you liked it I would get it for you no matter what. But you were so overbearing you didn't even let other people buy it. You bought all the milk tea for the entire day. All the students in second high were so jealous. Lingling even teased me and said that I was going to become the queen of milk tea. I was so happy to have so much milk tea all by myself. Yeah, if you want, I can buy all the milk tea and only let you drink it. Qin Chu looked at his wife domineeringly. Don't. Pa, I think it's too childish. Let's just be quiet and not do anything. Huamin covered her face in embarrassment and snuggled into Qin Chu's chest. Finally, it was their turn. Huamin only ordered a cup of plain milk tea. It was more than twice as expensive as before, costing 12 yuan per cup. It was a scam, but the good thing was that the taste hadn't changed. Huamin inserted a straw into the milk tea and brought it to Qin Chu's mouth. She looked at her husband with cute eyes and said coquettishly, "You drink first, hubby." Not far away in a black car, Ian exclaimed in fluent English. No wonder Huamian was infatuated with her. It seems like she's quite cute. Chapter 2375. Huamin and Qin Chu were drinking milk tea when they received a call from Tang Chuan. It was Huamin. Sister-in-law, where are you? Tang Chuan shamelessly insisted on calling Huamin sister-in-law, which made Huamin feel helpless. My husband and I are eating at second high. Huh? You guys are done? Tang Chuan was surprised. Yeah, look at the time. We came over right after I got off work. Sup? Tell us. Huamin sipped on the milk tea that Mr. Qin brought over as he spoke to Tang Chuan. Ning and I booked a private room at first-class Royal Palace. We're treating everyone to hot pot. Oh, but we're done. You guys can eat. How can we do that? We're leaving tomorrow. Today we're treating everyone to a meal. It doesn't matter if we eat or not, the important thing is to chat and see everyone. Tang Chuan explained. Leaving? Huamin didn't know what the two were up to and didn't know how to react. Anyways, just come over. We'll be waiting for you guys. First-class Royal Palace, 3rd floor, private room 888. Tang Chuan hung up before Huamin could say anything. Ugh, this guy. Huamin shook his head helplessly and put away his phone. What's wrong? Mr. Qin asked as he put his arm around Huamin's shoulder. Tang Chuan said that he and Ning are treating us to a meal and that they're leaving tomorrow or something. They asked us to go over. Ning is flying tomorrow. Qin Chu nodded. How come I didn't know? Huamin was surprised. I asked Yang to book the plane tickets and asked the airport staff to help. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to book it. I didn't have time to tell you. I was going to tell you when we got home. Then let's go and take a look. I don't know when Ning will come back this time. Yes. Qin Chu nodded. Then the two of them drove straight to the first-class Royal Palace. When they arrived, Jiang Xiaowei and Wei Liao were already there. Zhu Lingling also came, but Gao Ran was nowhere to be seen. Sister Lingling, where's your husband? Tang Chuan asked. Don't mention it. It's all because of that psycho killer. Everyone is in a panic. Another murder case happened. My husband hasn't been able to sleep well for several days. He has lost a lot of weight. He eats and sleeps in the bureau. I'm not in the mood to look after the shop these days, so I sent Buin to my mother-in-law's house. Sometimes I go to the bureau to bring him some food. Zhu Lingling was also listless. Oh yeah. I saw the news too. It's so fucking scary. Where did this psycho come from? They're dying one after another. Tang Chuan said. Who knows? I just hope the killer is caught soon. Also, don't let more people die. If this continues, Director Gao might die first and I'll be a widow. That won't happen. Sister Lingling, you're a tough woman. You and your husband won't be defeated by this little storm. Zhu Lingling's words made Tang Chuan chuckle. Hey Myung, come and sit with me. Let's talk. Seeing Huamin come in, Zhu Lingling immediately waved her hand. Huamin walked over with a smile and sat down beside Zhu Lingling. Then he began gossiping with Jiang Xiaowei and the other two. Wei Liao and Qin Chu also chatted with each other. What's wrong with our almighty Lord Su today? Is he stuck in a traffic jam? It shouldn't be. He's always been very punctual. Tang Chuan looked down at his watch anxiously. Chapter 2376. Don't worry, we can ask the waiter to serve the food first. When they get here we can start eating, Qin Ning suggested. That's a good idea. Go tell the waiter to serve the food and I'll call Lord Su. Tang Chuan stood up and called Su Yu. The call went through but Su Yu didn't pick up. Su Yu was driving his convertible sports car over, and the twins were sitting in the front passenger seat. This wasn't allowed, but with Lord Su's status, all the traffic police in the city knew who he was, so no one dared to ask. While waiting for a red light at an intersection, Su Yu glanced over and saw a young woman being dragged into a black Ford by two foreign men at the entrance of a bar. He frowned slightly. He had seen the news on TV recently and knew that there were a lot of murders. The focus was on the young woman and the foreign men. So Su felt that something was wrong. Just as he was about to follow them, he suddenly remembered that the twins were still in the front passenger seat. He immediately gave up on the idea. If there was danger he would be fine, but he couldn't let anything happen to the twins. So with that thought in mind she ignored Tang Chuan's call. Handsome Su, what are you thinking about? Putty asked. Nothing. But the light is green, why aren't you driving? Pudding pointed ahead. I'll be right there. Su Yu continued driving. Soon they arrived at first-class royal palace. Su Yu walked in with the twins in his arms. At the entrance he saw a few familiar faces. A group of rich kids were eating here with a few girls. When they saw Su Yu they nodded and bowed as if he was their ancestor. Lord Su, you're eating here too? Su Yu nodded. If you don't mind, let's eat together. Today is Kai's birthday, let's have some fun together. It's okay, I have an appointment with a friend upstairs. You guys eat. Su Yu then carried the twins upstairs. Are those two children? Lord Su's? What a cute pair of twins. Some girls in the group who didn't know what was going on started gossiping. Lord Su isn't married yet. Can you stop joking around? Nowadays, does marriage have anything to do with having children? Who said that you can't have children if you don't get married? The girl retorted. That's not Lord Su's either. But Lord Su does love these two children. Isn't it because Lord Su likes their mother? Forget it. Let's not talk about this. Lord Su has a fiery temper and doesn't like people talking about him behind his back. Come, let's drink. Although the men felt that this was an interesting topic, they didn't dare to say too much. They were very wary of Su Yu. When Su Yu carried the twins into the private room, everyone was already there. Oh my god, I thought you drove back in time. You can go back and forth twice in 40 minutes. This isn't like you, Lord Su. Tang Chuan looked at his watch. Uncle Tang, it's not handsome Su's fault. I had to finish watching an episode of the TV series before leaving. I was late. Little Bean immediately explained. You little brat. What TV series are you watching? Come on, sit down. Let's eat. Tang Chuan waved his hand. Su Yu sat down between Tang Chuan and Wei Liao. The twins dashed toward their parents. Pudding ran a little faster and laid down on Qin Chu's lap. Little Bean hugged Huamin's hand and started acting cute. Huamin lovingly picked Little Bean up and placed her on his lap. Little Bean, what do you want to eat? Mommy will cook it for you. Chapter 2377. Fish balls, crab sticks and shrimp rolls. Little Bean didn't hold back and ordered a bunch of food. Little Bean, be careful. Don't be overweight again. Tang Chuan teased her on purpose. Uncle Tang, are you saying that you don't want to be a part of the Qin family anymore? Little Bean retorted. Oh, did you hear that? Your little brat knows how to threaten people. Tang Chuan complained to Huamin. She's always had this skill. She didn't just learn it. Huamin was very calm. Little Bean, come to Auntie. Let me hug you. Qin Ning was very happy to see her little niece. Little Bean quickly climbed down from Huamin and sat on Qin Ning's lap. Little Bean, on the other hand, stayed by her daddy's side. Little Bean, why don't you come over? Come to Auntie's side. Tang Chuan also joined in the fun and called out to Little Bean. Little Bean calmly glanced at Tang Chuan's face and replied, Daddy and I are talking about the stock market. We don't have time to play with you guys. Tang Chuan was speechless. Wei Liao smiled. Little Bean, I heard that you bought a lot of Hua Corporation's shares. How was it? Did you make money? I haven't sold it yet. I'm waiting for the right time, Little Bean replied. Not bad. You know how to stock up. You're just like your dad. Wei Liao complimented. The group of people sat together and chatted while eating hot pot. The atmosphere was quite good. During this time, Su Yu suddenly brought up the recent murder case. He looked at Zhu Lingling and asked, Sister Ling, did Chief Gao say that the murderer is a foreigner? Yeah, sure. But my husband said that the person in the portrait might not be the right person. These foreigners seem to change their appearance all the time. Every time the witnesses see a new face. It's very strange. I don't know if it's a team or if they know how to disguise themselves. I'm so impressed. Zhu Lingling said listlessly as she picked up a piece of vegetable. What's wrong? Lord Su, do you have any clues? Jiang Shaowei asked. On the way here I saw. Before Su Yu could finish his sentence, he was interrupted. Huamin's phone kept ringing. It sounded urgent. This was the ringtone that Huamin had set for Southside. Because if he could still receive a call from the hospital after work, it would most likely be an emergency. Therefore, Huamin immediately took out his phone and answered the call. Hello? What? How long has it been? Is it serious? Wait for me then. I'll be right there. Huamin hung up the phone and his expression changed drastically. Honey, what's wrong? Qin Chu put down his chopsticks and looked at Huamin. There's an emergency at the hospital. We've just received a patient with massive abdominal bleeding. He needs immediate surgery. Things like this happen every day. There are so many doctors on duty at the hospital. You don't have to do it, do you? Zhu Lingling asked curiously. The patient's family asked me to do the surgery. If I'm not there, they won't sign the papers. Huamin answered seriously. Really? That's interesting. It seems like Dr. Hua is quite famous. Jiang Shaowei joked with a smile. Honey, give me the car keys. You guys eat first and then take the kids home. I'll go back after I'm done. No, I'll go with you. Qin Chu stood up. It's really not necessary. It's not too late now, I can drive. Huamin didn't think that Qin Chu had to go. Don't waste time, let's go. Without giving Huamin a chance to speak, Qin Chu put pudding down and grabbed Huamin's hand as they walked out. They didn't even have time to say goodbye to everyone else. After they left, Tang Chuan looked at Pudding and Pudding. You two little things are so pitiful. How did your parents forget about you? Are you really their biological children? Or are you a freebie? Chapter 2378. So, sometimes I wonder if they're fake parents. Little Bean pouted. Little Bean's words made everyone laugh. Just then, Su Yu received a WeChat message from Huamin. After dinner, please take the kids back to South Hill Manor for me. Thanks. Su Yu sighed and showed the message to everyone. Dr. Hua already told us to take care of them. Let's eat. It was normal for Huamin to go save people in the middle of dinner. However, Qin Chu insisted on going with him, which made everyone curious. Have you guys noticed that Qin Chu seems to be extra worried about Huamin? He takes them to work and picks them up after work. He's so meticulous. Jiang Shaowei said. That's understandable. After all, it hasn't been peaceful lately. The victims are all women and the psycho killer hasn't been caught yet. My husband also told me not to go out if I don't need to. It's better to be careful, Zhu Lingling replied. Otherwise they'd love to show off their love. They're always torturing us. Who knows what they'll do on Valentine's Day tomorrow? Tang Chuan thought. Valentine's Day tomorrow? Oh right. Mr. Wei, have you prepared my present? Jiang Shaowei looked at her husband. Don't worry. I've been preparing for every year since we got married. Wei Liao said confidently. My man is still working at the city police station. He probably forgot about Valentine's Day. It seems like I won't be able to receive any surprises. Just don't scare me. Zhu Lingling pouted. Ningning, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. We're going to spend it on the plane. Why don't we book a soft sleeper? What else can we do? Tang Chuan looked at Qin Ning and smirked. Get lost. You wish. Qin Ning's face immediately turned red. Hey. You're thinking too much. I mean, we can lie on the soft sleeper and listen to music, watch movies and drink red wine. It's so romantic. Tang Chuan explained. In the end, Little Bean couldn't take it anymore. She said, can you guys consider handsome Sue's feelings? He's a single dog. Do you have to torture him like this? Suyu raised his head innocently. He didn't know what to say for a moment. Do you want me to introduce you to a girl? Spend it with you? Tang Chuan winked at Suyu. Thank you for your kindness, but there's no need for that. I'd rather live a peaceful life on my own. Besides, I have a meeting at the company tomorrow. I might be busy for the whole day. This kind of festival doesn't matter to me. It's just like any other day. Suyu said slowly. Lord Su, since you're so free, you can sell flowers during the day, condoms at night and contraceptives at the hotel entrance the next day? Tang Chuan said. Don't talk nonsense, there's a kid here. Qin Ning secretly pinched Tang Chuan to remind him. Okay, go on. I know what you're saying. Little Bean raised her head and looked at Tang Chuan with a serious expression. Tang Chuan lowered his head and looked at Little Bean. They looked at each other for 3 seconds. Then he bowed with both hands. Master, please accept a bow from your disciple. Tang Chuan's comical appearance made everyone burst out laughing. However, Suyu wasn't happy. He lowered his head and took a sip of beer. He looked worried, because he was still thinking about the incident just now. If the people he saw were the murderers, then would another innocent person die today? Southside, Huamin rushed over. He immediately disinfected the patient, changed his clothes and rushed into the OR. What's the patient's condition? Deputy Director, this girl is in a terrible state. Looks like someone cut her open on purpose. Please come and take a look, the assistant nurse said. Huamin put on gloves and walked over. When he saw the patient, his expression changed drastically. Chapter 2379. Huamin did not touch surgery except for some difficult gynecology and orthopedic surgeries occasionally. Therefore, the hospital often had emergency patients who were either injured in car accidents or fell at construction sites. She had seen such cases before, but it was the first time she saw such a tragic situation. The girl was lying there on the verge of death. Her face was very pale, but she could vaguely see that her facial features were delicate and she was young. Her injury was indeed serious, but it was caused by an external force. She could tell from the wound that it was a knife wound. In other words, someone had used a knife to cut open her chest and caused her to bleed profusely. Let's stop the bleeding first. We'll start the surgery immediately. Huamin took a deep breath to calm herself down. Then she worked with 2 surgeons and 3 young nurses to perform this extremely difficult surgery. The surgery lasted for more than 3 hours. When Huamin came out of the operating theater, it was already 12:30 p.m. Because the surgery required a high level of concentration, Huamin felt dizzy and very tired once he relaxed. Someone handed him a glass of water. Huamin picked it up and was about to drink it. He realized that it was not a nurse from his hospital, but an unfamiliar, foreign man. The man did not look young. His eyes flashed with a strange light. The way he looked at him was also very strange. It was as if he was smiling but not smiling. Huamian raised her guard and held the disposable paper cup in her hand. Who are you? I'm a friend of the girl just now. The man spoke in English. Fortunately, Huamin could understand. You're a friend of the patient just now? Huamin obviously did not believe him. Yes, I'm the one who asked the hospital to invite you to perform the surgery. Your medical skills are excellent. I heard that the surgery was very successful. Although the surgery was successful, she's not out of danger yet. She still needs to be observed later. Huamin looked at the man and replied fluently in English. I didn't expect your English to be so good. I heard that you've never studied abroad. The man smiled. You seem to know a lot about me. Huamin became even more alert. A strange man whom she didn't know, and a foreigner at that, said that he was a patient's friend, but he knew her like the back of his hand. How scary was that? Everyone in the hospital is praising you. It's hard not to know. I heard that you're self-taught. Thank you for the compliment. Your friend is in the ICU right now, so it's not suitable for you to visit him. If you want to visit him, you can come tomorrow morning. I'm getting off work. Huamin didn't want to say more. She was going to go to the office to find Qin Chu and then go home together. Are you interested in having a midnight snack with me? The man looked at Huamin with a strange smile. I'm not interested in eating with strangers, Huamin rejected coldly. But if you don't agree to my request, I'll be unhappy. The man continued. So, what do you want? Huamin frowned slightly. She raised her head and looked into the man's eyes without a trace of fear. Everyone around me knows that if I'm unhappy, the consequences are very scary. I really don't want you to see me unhappy. It would be a disaster. Hearing the man's half-threatening words, Huamin suddenly smiled. I don't know if you've heard of this, but there's an old saying in our country. Don't be too stubborn. Do you really think that everyone in the world is your mother? Although it was a little strange to hear these words in English, Huamian still understood the general meaning. So Huamin was scolding him? Ian widened his eyes in disbelief as he stared at the thin and short Asian face in front of him. Chapter 2380. In the whole world no one dared to talk to him like this except for that damned girl Lu Yan. No one. His brother Nalo didn't dare, and neither did Huasiqian. However, the woman in front of him actually scolded him shamelessly, and even scolded his mother along the way. Maybe it was because of the recent murder case, but Huamin didn't like foreign men. Plus, he was in a bad mood tonight, so he went a little overboard and cursed. Dr. Hua, if you treat me like this, I'll be very sad. Ian looked at Huamin slowly. So what? I think I can. Ian didn't finish his sentence. A voice broke the silence between them. Honey, are you done with work? Chin Chu stood not far away, leaning against the wall in the hallway with a black lighter in his right hand. Mr. Chin was dressed in a black shirt, looking so handsome that he could beat all the idols, celebrities and male idols out there. Huamin was delighted to see Chin Chu. Yeah, I'm done. I just finished the surgery. Then what are you waiting for? Let's go home. Chin Chu said as he strode over and held Huamin's hand. With Chin Chu around, Huamin felt much safer and more confident. The couple held hands as they walked past Ian. Chin Chu didn't even look at the foreign man next to him. It was as if he didn't know him at all. Ian stared at their backs until they were far away. Sir, why didn't you order us to do it? Two subordinates appeared behind him. Idiot. This woman's husband isn't simple. Didn't we check him out? He's just an ordinary entrepreneur. If you want to say he's not simple, is it because his uncle is Mr. Chin, the CEO of GK? No, it has nothing to do with that. I'm more interested in the lighter in his hand. Ian was a meticulous person. When Chin Chu walked over, he glanced at the black lighter in Chin Chu's hand. He saw a red skull pattern on it, so he didn't dare to act rashly. What's wrong with the lighter? Was it a detonator? Is there a bomb in the hospital? Ian's men guessed. No, his pattern looks like the symbol of the Doomsday Reaper. Doomsday Reaper? How is that possible? Isn't that? The subordinate didn't continue. I'll investigate this matter carefully. Phil, I don't want anything to go wrong. Ian said and turned to leave. Chin Chu and Huamin had just left the hospital when Huasiqian arrived in his car. Huasiqian's men had been observing Ian's movements. When he heard that Ian had come to Southside, Huasiqian was terrified. Without another word, he drove straight to Southside, afraid that Ian would do something to Huamin. Sir. Huasiqian suppressed the fear in his heart and ran to Ian. You're worried too? Are you afraid that I'll do something to your sweetheart? Ian smiled. Sir, my sister, she's just an ordinary doctor and doesn't know anything. Sir, please don't hurt her for the sake of my loyalty to you. She's the only family I have left. For the first time, Huasiqian admitted defeat in such a serious manner. It wasn't because he was afraid of Ian, but because he was afraid that Huamin would get hurt. Hua, I've known you for many years and it's rare to hear you speak so gently. Seems like that woman is really important to you. But I'm curious. If you're so loyal to me, why haven't you found the person I've asked you to find for me all these years? Faced with Ian's questioning, Huasiqian felt guilty again. So, you really can't find her, or did you find her and don't want to tell me about the orphan of the Liu family? Ian leaned closer to Huasiqian's nose and stared into his eyes as he interrogated him. You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.